And a look then at the women's under 17 pair final A. This is St. Andrews out of lane 1, and we'll get a sense of splits here in a moment. Triangle out of lane 2, then White Rock out of lane 4, then Camp Randall and St. Andrews over in lane 6 as well. White Rock currently leading, White Marsh running second.
Yeah, and it's back and forth. I think probably because White Rock was in the water taking a stroke at 500 meters, that's why they're ahead of White Marsh on your screen in the graphic. So you see those two boats out in front. Basically, they're trading punches, as I would like to say. Whoever's in the water has their bow slightly ahead. And so this is going to be interesting. It's White Marsh and White Rock out in front. And then at the top of the race course, that's St. Andrew in lane 1. I do believe that they're sitting in a third place position, being challenged quite a bit by everyone else. So maybe it's a half a length for St. Andrews right now, holding on to a bronze medal. But then you just see how close it is. It's probably less than a second for all the other boats, Triangle, Camp Randall, the other St. Andrew boat closest to the camera. So out in front and deciding they want to start to take the lead is that boat in lane 4 from White Rock.
750 meters down, White Rock leads. White Marsh looking over their shoulder. We see the bow seat there. She'll need to look over to the other side as well as lane 1. That's the St. Andrews boat out of lane 1 starts to make a push as well. Moving towards the halfway point, towards the 1,000. White Rock leads, but look out for St. Andrews. We see St. Andrews now pushing past lane 3, White Marsh. St. Andrews now running second.
Yeah, so St. Andrew Rowing Club out of, I think, Roswell, Georgia, Atlanta area. They are starting to make a push up there, and we're seeing that they have 2 boats in the A final. So obviously a lot of firepower for St. Andrew in this boat class, the women's under 17 pair. And you can see a little bit of steering going on in lane 3 there. That's the White Marsh boat. And it does look like St. Andrew, you'll see at 1,000 meters, has clearly moved into the second place position, and losing some momentum is that White Marsh boat that was doing a little bit of steering. And as we saw in the previous race, mistakes can be very, very costly in these pairs. So all these athletes have to be careful as they go down the race course to make sure at a minimum that the rowing remains consistent even as they start to tire. Thankfully, we didn't see it affect the medals, I don't think, in that previous race. But as they come through, you're seeing the times at 1,000 meters. It's starting to be a pretty big lead here for those 2 boats that are out front. So in my mind, it's kind of, at least at this third 500, it's going to come down to whether St. Andrew in lane 1 can start to sort of find some momentum and close the gap on White Rock.
Oh, and such a battle going on, which we can see on the screen here. Lane 2, that's Triangle starting to break free of Camp Randall, and Camp Randall out of lane 5, and then White Marsh out of lane 3. White Marsh maybe falling off the pace a little bit. We see Camp Randall, the Blue Blades, lane 5, and again out of lane 2, Triangle just starting to push ahead. So some of these battles happening then in the rest of the field. But a look at our leader, that is White Rock out of lane 4, making the charge towards the line.
And just really controlled rowing. You can tell it's powerful. Stroke rating isn't, wildly high in that White Rock boat as we still look at this good battle going on between Triangle from the Research Triangle in North Carolina, and then the boat closer to the camera, which is Camp Randall out of Madison, Wisconsin. And they are essentially, deadlocked on the race course, which is so interesting, given that they're kind of, not in adjacent lanes. Generally, you see the battles going on in adjacent lanes. That's not what we're seeing here. We're seeing St. Andrew in lane 1 really start to show some speed. In fact, St. Andrew may be starting to close the gap a little bit on White Rock. So you can see very far right of your screen, that's St. Andrew, but you can see what's going on. It's a 2-boat race up front. You'll see the split times at 1,500 meters. It's a 2-second gap. So St. Andrew is really going to have to find a big finish to try to win a gold medal. But then you see a huge gap, almost a 10-second gap back to the races going on for the bronze medal between Camp Randall and Triangle. So we got kind of 2 match races here within this race, Colleen, as they come toward us. And St. Andrew continues to sort of have some momentum up there in lane 1. But I do think there's a lot of power in that White Rock boat in lane 4, and it's going to be hard as they play defense against St. Andrew for St. Andrew to try to push their bow ahead.
Yeah, White Rock with just a great start, a great first 1,000. So, we've seen St. Andrews really kick it up in the second 500 of the race into the third 500, and now as they sprint towards the line. So we'll see if St. Andrews has another gear. White Rock, again, got out early. They held. So we'll see if they have a sort of power reserve to tap into. Now into the last 250 meters into the red buoy zone. Look at St. Andrews go.
Yep, they're going. St. Andrew up at the top of the screen as they come down. They may have taken the lead. It's probably the angle. They're probably right dead level right now. So it's 20 strokes to the line for a national championship. Who's going to have those 20 strokes? Who's going to win those 20 strokes? It's so crazy to me. You have these crews from all over the nation. You have a Wisconsin boat rowing against a Georgia boat, and it's coming down to the last couple of strokes in front of us here on our 2,000-meter race course. Starting to find that speed again and maybe pushing back ahead might be White Rock. We're going to see as they come just in front of us, and I do think it is. White Rock kind of found another gear in those last 20 strokes, and they are going to go ahead and cross the line with a gold medal in the under 17 women's pair, just ahead of St. Andrew up there in lane 1 in the silver medal position. And then it's Camp Randall out of lane 5, finishing in 3rd place ahead of Triangle in lane 2. And then it's lane 6 in front of us, which is the other St. Andrew boat. And unfortunately, I think that the boat from White Marsh may have had some sort of equipment problem because they kind of started rowing off the course there. So anyway, the next race that will be on the race course will be our men's under 17 double.